What's happening, everybody? I hope you're all feeling fantastic out there. Today I'm breaking down the newest from Mads Mikkelsen. It's called Riders of Justice, directed by Anders Thomas Jenson. The plot here follows a man that seeks out vengeance for the death of his wife when he learns the explosion on her train was no accident. Now I know this sounds very much like a plotline we've seen many times in recent years. That's really what I was expecting when going into this one, but it delivered much more than that, so let's dive into this review to see why this is a film you're going to want to add to your watch list and to see why revenge is a dish best served, sprinkled with a little Mikkelsen. Now right out of the gate here, I will say two things about this movie. First is it's in Danish, so you're going to have to read.
Oh great, now I gotta read. Okay.
And secondly, I'm going to tell you it will be well worth it because I think this is one of the better revenge flicks that I've seen probably since the first John Wick. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the plot on paper is simplistic and recycled. A military man returns home after the death of his wife. Due to his time in the service, his relationship with his daughter is a bit estranged as well. He also learns the seemingly accidental explosion on the train that took her life was in fact not a chance event, and this causes him to seek out justice on those responsible. So I can't credibly stand here and tell you that that doesn't all sound familiar, because it does, but I will tell you that regardless of this simple setup, that there is plenty of atmosphere and substance to be lured in by. The themes are heavily layered with emotion, but there is just a odd jovial levity to the progression that is delivered with a precise timeliness to create a charming ebb and flow of moods while you watch this movie. Going into this one, I was expecting a pure balls-to-the-wall actioner, but it wasn't at all. There is a collection of joyfully violent sequences that I very much liked, but this film is much more of a drama. It spends a good amount of time exploring the emotions of grief and a father trying to build a connection with his daughter, and all of this, I think, added a ton of dramatic meat to chew on to make this a surprisingly unique movie. Because this one kind of felt like a blend of John Wick and The Big Bang Theory, and as odd as that pairing may sound, was as enjoyable as it was to watch progress on screen. Mikkelsen's character Marcus is approached by a man that was on the train with his wife. This man is a data expert and a mathematician, and he is the one who presents his findings on why he thinks this explosion was deliberate. This man has a couple of friends who are some brainiacs as well, and together they all have their own personal reasons for getting involved in this tragic event, and together these guys are kind of like the geek squad of Mikkelsen's mission for revenge. They're the brains, Mikkelsen is the weapon, and together they form an unlikely little family that kind of brings a ton of heartfelt sincerity to the screen in what would have usually just been a hollow action flick loaded with loud bursts of violence. So in the end, I loved this movie. It was a pleasant surprise. I'll give Riders of Justice a solid 95%. It's certainly one of my favorite films of 2021 so far. It definitely plays around in the revenge flick pool, but it brings plenty of its own toys to make the adventure very much its own. The performances are fantastic and perfectly tailored for the needs of each role, and their chemistry is very natural to make all the dynamics work. It cuts in its share of action, not as much as you may expect or hope for, but it also brings an interesting and a surprisingly likable collection of characters to come in and surround Mikkelsen's stoic grieving father role. You can invest in and actually connect to these characters. The story also develops them nicely, which in turn allows the impact of the action to truly land because you kind of feel like you've taken the journey along with them. So I couldn't recommend this movie more. The second act is slowly paced, but it's nothing that gets in the way of the storyline being able to just completely reel you in and keep you intrigued. This is one of those movies that routinely subverts expectations. It frequently does one thing when you think it's going to go another direction, and I think all of that really allows the film to deliver an entertaining blend of humor, heart, violence, and atmosphere. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop it a thumbs up, leave a comment below. I'd love to talk movies with you guys. Share it with your friends, and without question, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can never miss a video. Here are some links to some recent reviews just in case you missed them. All my social media links and the link to our official website are down in the description below, and I'll catch you next time.